Today, we're diving into something huge. A massive policy shift is coming to Singapore. And if you're a business there, or you're even thinking about working there, well, you are definitely going to want to stick around for this.
So, let me ask you, have you been thinking about working in Singapore? I mean, it's an incredible global hub, right? But hold on, because the whole game for foreign professionals is about to change. And I mean, dramatically.
Yeah, when I say change, I mean it. This isn't just some small tweak to the paperwork. We're talking about a complete overhaul of the entire system. So, okay, let's get right into it.
So what are we actually looking at here? Well, you could call it a whole new era for work in Singapore. Starting in 2025, the Ministry of Manpower is kicking off a totally new framework for bringing in foreign workers.
And here's the bottom line in a nutshell. The government's basically said things are getting tougher. We're talking stricter requirements for anyone who applies, higher minimum salaries you have to be paid, and a brand new focus on having specific, provable qualifications.
Okay, so this naturally leads to the big question, right? Why? Why make such a huge change right now? What's the master plan behind all these reforms?
You know, this really isn't about just tinkering with the rules. It's a much bigger strategic move. Singapore is playing the long game here. They want to prioritize their own local workforce, make sure wages are fair for everyone, and build an economy that's sustainable, one that's driven by real innovation, not just by cheap labor.
All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What exactly are these new rules, and how are they going to impact anyone applying from 2025?
First up, and this is a big one, money. Yep, the minimum salary you've got to earn is going up, especially in key industries like construction, marine, and manufacturing. The whole idea is to attract highly skilled people and, shift away from a model that's built on low-cost labor.
Okay, change number 2. And this is a first. Singapore is bringing in a strict age limit for anyone applying for a new work permit. This is a totally new requirement that just wasn't there before.
And that magic number is 50. That's right. Starting in 2025, if you're applying for a work permit for the first time, you have to be under 50 years old. It's a pretty clear signal, isn't it? They're looking for folks who can contribute to the economy for the long haul.
And that brings us to our third big change, a much, much bigger focus on professional qualifications. This really ties into the other changes, because it's not just about filling a job anymore. It's about finding people who have the right skills, and this is key, skills you can actually prove you have.
So what does that mean for you? Well, it means you'll need the whole package. Relevant degrees, sure, but also those industry-specific certifications and, crucially, work experience that can be easily checked and verified. So, those days of just throwing together a quick application, they're over. It just won't cut it anymore.
And number 4, this one is for the employers. The government is putting a lot more responsibility directly on them. Basically, they want to see that companies are making a real, genuine effort to hire Singaporeans first before they even think about looking overseas.
So what does that proof look like? Well, at its core, companies are going to have to show their work. They'll need to provide hard evidence that they advertise the job locally, they'll have to explain exactly why a foreign hire is the only option, and they'll even have to show what their plan is for training and upskilling the people they already have. It's a whole new level of accountability.
And wow, when you see it all laid out like this in a table, the new direction is just crystal clear. We're going from lower salaries to higher ones, from no age limit to a sharp cutoff at 50, and maybe most importantly, we're shifting from an approach that was all about quantity to one that is absolutely laser-focused on skill and quality.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get to the part you've probably been waiting for. What does all this actually mean for you, whether you're an employer trying to hire or a professional looking for a job?
Let's look at both sides of this coin. For employers, the takeaway is clear. You've got to rethink your hiring strategy. That means updating HR policies and being ready to offer better salary packages. And for job seekers, the market is definitely going to be more competitive. You'll need to have all your qualifications in order and be prepared for some pretty strict interviews and background checks.
So if you're an employer listening to this, here's your action plan. Seriously, start now. First, update your HR and recruiting policies. Second, get a rock-solid system in place for documenting every single local recruitment attempt.
And third, start crunching the numbers and preparing to offer salary packages that meet these new higher benchmarks.
And what about all you foreign job seekers? Well, for you, preparation is everything. My advice? Get your documents in order now. That means dusting off your academic certificates, getting copies of your professional certs, and gathering letters or records that prove, verifiably, your work experience. Trust me, being organized is going to give you a huge leg up.
And speaking of getting an advantage, if you've got skills in certain high-demand sectors, you're going to be in a really strong position. We're talking about fields like tech, engineering, healthcare, and the green industries. Let's be honest, this whole policy shift is practically designed to roll out the red carpet for exactly this kind of specialized talent.
Okay, let's bring it all together. As we're looking ahead to 2025, the message coming from Singapore's Ministry of Manpower is, well, it's crystal clear.
So if there is just one single idea you take away from all of this, let it be this quote. The focus is shifting. It's moving away from hiring in big numbers to hiring the right talent for the right roles. In other words, it's all about quality over quantity.
And that leaves us with one last really fascinating question to think about. With all these bold changes, Singapore isn't just tweaking its rules. It's making a big play. So, will this massive strategic shift actually work? Will it make Singapore the world's #1 spot for elite, top-tier talent? I guess